Jay from I Wander UK. This is day 29 of the Southwest Coastal Path Challenge. Fortunately enough, yesterday I ended up on the other side of Helford River, thanks to big up to Adam, who literally came round, picked me up, drove me around the estuary and dropped me off, and even got me a lunch. Beautiful apple I devoured, packet of crisps, etc. Adam, you're a hero. Thank you so much. You're one of those ones that's helped this journey. I don't think I would have been able to make it. It's been a ball ache trying to get across there. I've been worrying about it for the last 3 days, and you did it. So I ended up on this side of the Helford River rather than the other. Today I'm walking through to Falmouth. It should be a fairly straightforward day. I think it's under 10 mile. It's rained all night, so the tent and most everything else is soaking wet, and it smells damp now as well. So I'm looking forward to get to Falmouth, meeting up with my girlfriend Elle, change over and get some clean clothes and dry my stuff out. So it's fairly early in the morning. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we need to get going soon. But I have a last little look around where I was. That's literally the pub just down there where you get the ferry over to, if the ferry was running, where Adam dropped me off, the hero. There's me for the night, and there's Helford on the other side. So there's Helford on that side, and we need to get across to Helford Passage, which apparently is a 5-minute ferry, less than 5-minute ferry, but like an hour's journey around the estuary. So it wasn't just a little favour, it was a huge favour. Cheers, Adam. Anyway, like I said, we're heading for Falmouth today. I've got to pack up the rest of my kit and get going, so let's do that. It rained all night, but unfortunately, as you can probably tell, there was absolutely no wind. Oh, a little tiny bit of wind now, so if you look, you can even see the inside of this is wet. You can sponge down the outside, but the inside is still gonna be damp. Just have to live with it and hope you get some wind that day. I had the same yesterday, and I sat for about 10 minutes trying to hope the air would dry it out, but the air's not good enough. It literally has to be blowing just to dry it out, and then it'll do it in a few minutes. But just have to suck it up, get on with it, pack it away wet. Same with the footprint, to be honest. You can try and give it a wipe over with your sponge, whichever one that is, your cloth, but you're fighting a losing battle. Even if you try and put it on the hopefully dry bit you started off with last night, as you're turning it over, you just need to suck it up, I guess. It's one of the advantages, I guess, if you're just doing an overnighter, you can chuck all your stuff in the bag, get home, hang it over your banister and dry it out properly. But on a through hike or a long, well, this is a through hike, yeah, you just have to live with it, learn to live with it. Positive spin to that little exercise, I guess, packing the tent away when it's damp and wet. At least it ain't raining now. It could be worse. I think I may have said before, like when you're camping, doing this packing, what's working for me is having a method and sticking to it. Don't be frightened to alter it if it's not working, but stick to that method. Because when you wake up like a zombie in the morning, you can just go into automatic. But a couple of things I was just thinking and then is always clean your pegs. It takes a few seconds, perhaps a minute or two, but it's not your dirt, so stop stealing dirt, for one. But two, when you come to put it back up again, to have clean pegs instead of getting shit all over your hand from the day before, when it's a nice dry day, is wonderful. And the second, and this is really important, anytime you unclip something on your rucksack or like your stuffed sack for your sleeping bag, loosen the strap off. It seems counterproductive, but instead of struggling to put your water bottle back in or struggling to put something in because it's too tight, loosen the bloody strap off, shove it in and redo it. It's seconds, but just get into the habit of doing it. I promise you, day 29 today, and it's something that I just do automatically every time now, and it's working for me. I'm not Ray Mears. Me and Ray are good friends, but I'm just out here doing what I do. I'm not no expert. I'm just making it up the same as most other people. So those are things that work for me. Try it. If it don't work for you, don't do it. Nice one. Divine retribution. just giving it the big I am. Oh yeah, clean your pegs, make sure you do the straps. Just went to readjust my trekking pole for the day because the Lanshan one, as you probably know, uses the trekking pole. And because not last night, the night before, it was really windy, I tightened it. So last night I over tightened it because it's all wet and damp this morning. I couldn't adjust my trekking pole. Struggled with it for about 20-30 seconds, started to get frustrated, so put it down, walked away, went for a quick loo, came back. It's dried out in the air a little bit and went first time. Don't get frustrated with shit. It's not trying to persecute you or trying to mess with your head. It's just stuff. Last little one before I set off. That's where I was. I know I probably don't need to say it, but just leave no trace. Let's just keep doing what we like to be doing. I've been really lucky this trip, and people have either been just easygoing or downright bloody helpful and pointed out places where I can camp. So if we all want to keep doing this, whatever shoes you bring in, take your shoes back out again. It's as easy as that. Tidy up, clean it, leave it as you found it. Easy, straightforward. Right, I've got to get going. Ray, are you ready? Yeah, right, we've got to get going. Come on. Come on. Yes, it's a brilliant fire stick, but we need to get going. No, we haven't got time to whittle a bowl. We need to be going. Now, not too early a start. I blasted it a bit yesterday trying to sort out the Helford River crossing ferry malarkey, and did my tendons again, would you believe? Whiner. So it's 9 o'clock and we're leaving Helford Passage. Falmouth, here we come. I overnighted on the hill on the little bit of grass just after you get past it. I think it might be called the Ferry Inn on the Helford Passage side, but it might be wise to walk through the grass a bit, through the little park or something. I'm not sure what it is, just a piece of green pasture. And on the bottom end there's another bit of grass. There's a lot less more brambles on this bit, if you're thinking about it. This morning's one of those strange mornings. There's no sun, but equally there's no wind either. And I guess because of the cloud last night, it kept the earth heating. But I've been going for 15 minutes and already I'm up to temperature. With the wind cheater on, I need to think about stopping and taking it off. Whereas yesterday morning and the morning before, I had my wind cheater on and my hat on till 11, half 11 during the day. It's just odd. It's one of those adjustments you need to keep on making for yourself. Be conscious, but don't be sitting in a crisp packet and sweating your guts out. Quick look back of some of the bits we did yesterday. Just over the other side of the trees there is Helford, the other side of the river obviously. It's that little woodland walk, a couple of little coves there, out onto the end of these headlands and back round the other side to St Anthony Menage, not sure, the church. Got a lovely start to the day. First 15 minutes or so, a nice easy stroll along some grass, just looking out at the estuary. Then you tuck up into this little woods, which is quite pleasant as well. Easy walking, all's good in the world. Well, it's the start of the day, you need to be fresh. The old schoolhouse, my school wasn't like that. What a fantastic path this is. Just you can hear all the nature. I know that sounds rubbish, but the birds singing and stuff. I've literally just stopped to take my wind cheater off, put my rucksack on and went to go over the stile, and a robin came down and landed on the post marker for the coastal path. I didn't get a picture of that, but he flew from one side. I was slightly disappointed, and flew to the other side of the gate and just sat there singing to me. Not really been into birds before, but they are quite fascinating, aren't they? I was when I was a kid, but not for a number of years, and they are just fascinating. Anyway, it's a nice little moment. After going through the little bit of woodlands and the nature and stuff, we're back out onto the green stuff. It's all open. Not sure what the sky's doing today. It's not cold. I'm down to a shirt. It's early in the morning. I don't know what time it is. 9:30, 10:15, something like that. But it's not cold at all. It's damp, but it's not cold. Nice little cove with a lone dog sitting in the water there. Oh, there's another one. And the water just gently lapping up. A little look back from this side of the estuary. That's little Dennis Head. I was about centre of screen there yesterday lunchtime, fretting about how to cross the Helford River. But into the estuary, across and out we are. This really is a pleasant little walk. I'm not being sarcastic. You go out onto a little bit of green, see a bit of the estuary, and then you come back in and like this bit. Oh, watch where you're going, Jay. Zigzag through some woodland, looking out for bits of nature. A very nice, pleasant start to the day. Really like it. See the estuary right there, and round, and let's just follow the path through. As you're following the path through the woodland and out the other side, there are a few steps, but just steps. Nothing like we've been used to before, I promise. Most of them are well made, a couple of them are worn, but they're like, hold your trekking poles just for that reassurance, not trying to climb up your trekking pole like a stripper pole to bring yourself up to the next step. Nothing like that, I promise. It's a lovely, straightforward, easygoing walk. From the end of Rosemullion Point, or is it Rosemullion Head? You check that. You can see where we were yesterday. There's Dennis Head and Nair Point to the left. Just a little quick look back into the estuary there, past the gorse. Apparently that rock, centre screen, is Shag Rock. Why has that been given a name at that size? Who knows? And from this side, I think that's Maenporth there. Coming out the headland there is Pennant's Point, centre screen now. And I believe that could be Falmouth, or the start of Falmouth. Going out, and obviously the headland running around there is where we're aiming for today. Quick look around Bream Cove. Not sure if that shot is for everybody or someone's garden. It's, I don't know, might be for everybody. Look over Bream Cove and Rosemullion Head. 4 or 5 days ago, Young Minds emailed me and asked me if I'd be willing to share, 1, why did I choose to do the challenge, and 2, why did I choose Young Minds as a charity to support. I said I would try and do something, but I didn't want to do anything scripted, so I just let my mind wander the last few days and thought, I hit the halfway mark yesterday, so I thought today's a good day. It's been a beautiful walk this morning, fairly peaceful. It's nice and tranquil here, so I thought I'd just try and review why I did. Well, the first reason, I was 60 in November of last year, so I chose the challenge at 60, over 600 miles in under 60 days. And the challenge was, for me, not just a physical challenge, but to be honest with you, I've withdrawn over several years, and I don't have many people I could call friends. And that's not a sob story, that's just a track. But that was my choice. I chose to do that. I've started to realise over the last couple of years that's not necessarily a good thing. So apart from the physical challenge, I promised my girlfriend Elle that anybody I meet, I would engage and try and talk to. And I've met some fabulous people. So that's cool. The second part was I lost my brother Nick 10 years ago, before he was 50. He didn't quite make his 50th birthday. So I felt like I should be doing something with my life because I'm still living. And looking back on it, I'm still not sure to this day what happened. Nick was probably the fittest he's ever been in his life. He was swimming and keeping fit. And I'm not sure if it was some kind of, I don't know, like a self-abuse. I know I'm guilty of it. When I'm feeling a bit low, I go out and I push myself, and I push myself too hard. It's sort of like a punishment. And over my lifetime, I've dabbled with alcohol. I'm not proud of it. You know, it was identified by a counsellor as self-medication. I've I've lived with mental health for the last 30 years. Literally 30 years ago, 4 or 5 months after my first daughter was born, I had a wobble, and it was quite a serious wobble, and whoever else was on that plane that day, I'm really sorry. I had to see various counsellors and psychiatrists, but I knew then I was never the same again. In my early years, I was gregarious and party going, and I liked to meet people and go out and have fun. And after that, I never was. I always had self-doubt in myself. I lost my confidence a lot. I've learnt to sort of live with it, but I don't think anybody should just live with it. And that's why it occurred to me why to do Young Minds, basically. I started looking into charities for mental health. I looked at suicide awareness in men. I looked back and I started thinking, my family and closest people and loved ones to me, several of them have had problems, either not being able to find themselves, stress at work, being lost and abusing themselves in different ways, and that's not right. If you break something on your body, you get it fixed. You might be, say for example, break your leg. You don't just break your leg, put it in a cast and then come out of it. You have physio and then build it back up and get the strength back in your leg. With mental health, there seems to be that missing factor. We seem to put a sticky plaster on it, and as long as they're not trying to kill themselves or others, they learn to just come up with their own coping strategies, for want of an expression, and just go through life. But that's not right. And that's why I chose Young Minds. I think as a society, we should put a lot of funding into that, on the element that when it first happens to someone at an early age perhaps, we get it out, if possible, sort it and fix it then, and not allow that person to go through their life with no joy. It just doesn't seem right. I didn't want to be boring. I'm not trying to preach, but I think it touches on everybody's life. You know somebody, a friend, a member of the family, or someone that you know from work that suffer from mental health in some way or other. They might have just tripped out and lost it. They may be stressed at work. It may be short term, but come on. 30 years ago, we had the philosophy of, oh, you lost it for a bit there, didn't you? And you have to man up and all those expressions. It's 2022. Let's try and sort this. I was just wandering a little bit more then, and I mean in my head, not wandering along. And if you are in your own head a lot, I know it's a cliche, but please don't be frightened to ask somebody or talk to somebody at least. They may not be the best person, but just talk. It's not their fault they don't know how to help you, but just keep persevering. Talk about it. Sometimes it does help. sometimes in life challenges come along, they're not aimed at you personally, they're just challenges of life. Other times they are, but try and find someone to talk to. There's lots of societies and places out there that offer you help. Don't be frightened to use them. There's nothing embarrassing it. Something's just gone wrong. It needs fixing. Don't suffer with it and dwell on it, because time will tick on. It's our most precious commodity. I always say to people that imagine you have a bag of the shiniest, most beautiful marbles in the world. Each one of those marbles is time. Don't be frightened to give a few to people here and there, but always leave a few in the bag at the bottom for yourself. You'll find that person that's happy to give you that bit of time. Don't suffer with it. Most of all, don't forget, the chances of you being here are like billions to one or something. If I actually think you've got a one-way ticket on this world. We're all here, we haven't got manuals, we don't know what we're doing, we just shuffle along through life, making the most of it, making up as we go along basically. But don't ever, ever give up. Peace. After a short walk from Bream Cove, maybe about 20 minutes I guess, you come through like a little passageway with hedges on either side, go past a couple of houses, and then as you come around the corner it opens up into this, which I'm assuming is Maenporth. I'm not sure if it's just Maenporth or Maenporth Cove. It looks very nice. So it looks tranquil with a little bit of a wave. Oh, helicopter just. Saw him doing an exercise this morning, but the weather was so grey you couldn't pick anything up on the camera, but the helicopter was doing a rescue off a boat, like a training exercise. Yeah, what's I saying? Maenporth, I believe. Maybe Maenporth Cove. I think it's just Maenporth. Looks nice because I can see how clear the water is already. Oh yeah, drops into this nice little cove here. You come around the headland and you see Maenporth first time. You drop down, literally walk along the beach to the cafe. Behind the cafe there's some toilets, and then coming up a slope. It's not huge, it's fairly straightforward, but it's quite long. And the sun's just popped its head out, as you can probably tell, so the heat's got up even more. I'm not complaining about the sun, I promise. As you're walking up the slope from Maenporth, take a look back. See the headland we're at this morning, and there's Dennis Head from yesterday. Centre of screen now, just about see it. It's lovely to see where you've been. The slope coming out from Maenporth is slow and steady, but it's just basically giving some elevation. It's not like yesterday's 25% or on the approach to Porthallow. Seems really calm again. A bit more, and we're heading now towards Swampole, which I think is a couple of miles away. After a little longer than I first thought, maybe about 20 minutes to be honest, of a gentle incline, and I promise you it is a gentle incline. You start descending again, and I think I'm on Pennant's Point. I'm just going to check that. At the end of Pennant's Point, quite appropriate for me. Can't think of a reason why at the moment, but give my head a few minutes. I'm sure it'll come up with something. There's great views looking back, and then as you turn the corner and come back in, you can sort of get fleeting glimpses of it through these trees here. That's Swampole. Just the centre of the screen there now, with its little lake behind it. And I'm going to have a stab at this Gillingvase beach just ahead there. And then if I move slightly, maybe try and zoom in a little with Falmouth. Yeah, fantastic day to do that today. Warm, not too windy, very ideal. Sea's not too rough. Nice little cove to come into as well. Good landing. As you walk around the other side of Pennant's Point, as I pointed out, you get like little fleeting glimpses of what's just ahead of the beaches and stuff, which is nice. But I think we're going to open up ahead here. This is where we've just been for all these trees. Glimpses. And up ahead it opens up a little view of Swampole just before we dip down again. Just a little bit further. Gillingvase Beach just down there. And this will be Swampole. Very gentle that wave is today. Crazy big bits of granite at the back of it. Do a look back at Pennant's Point. Come down from there around Swampole and we're around to the next beach. Well, we're walking towards the next beach now. Not sure if I've taken the right way because there's several different paths, but all just these tarmac paths, and I've just taken the one closest to the sea, was my assumption. I could stop and check, but going in the right direction. Lovely little spot you could tuck yourself under. Just round the corner there, out of the way. It's after Swampole and just before the Gillingvase Beach, which I think I'm just going to have to step down to here. Have a quick look around the bay. There's Pennant's Point there. That ship, I'm not quite sure what it's doing. It's been out there all morning. And this is the track we just dropped down to, where you can see the rugged rock on the other side. And there's Gillingvase, I'm going to say this time. Beach coming around the corner. And the point to walk later. Just sitting there having five at the end of Gillingvase Beach. Got a couple more minutes to do. I'm going to do Pendennis Point later. I'm booked into a B&B tonight, so I'm going to go and book in there, take this house off my back, and then walk Pendennis Point and round later, have a look round. Relief. What a luxury.